Say that again? Yeah.
Is that your 20th anniversary?
Yes, sir. Hey, I put it on. I said you out, then I turned 8. Well, I figured I could handle it. I'm like, nah, that's too much.
All right, don't mess up today. It's your girl Sunshine here tonight. This is exclusive. This is big. I thank you all for tuning in. Hello, loyals. Hello, everybody. Tonight is about our fraternity. It's about our brotherhood. It's about unity. It's about family. So I have everyone here going to introduce themselves. We're going to go one at a time, and they're going to tell you what they are, as in the fraternity, what they're doing right now, and then we're going to chop it up. So let's start with EJ. Go ahead. Introduce yourself to people and tell them where you're from.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is EJ Jackson. I'm from Montgomery Village, Maryland. I'm an IT executive, and I'm a member of Group 5 Group Social Fellowship Incorporated.
All right. And Omar?
All right. Hey, what's going on, family? It's Omar. I am a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Graduated electrical engineering, worked 13 years as an electrical engineer, and now own a children's bookstore, committed to Black authorship. And cool fun fact real quick that I was just so excited about that. That's why I was so excited, is because EJ and his children are actually on the book club. And so I wanted to make sure I threw that in there, because our good brother has, we've been connected for the last at least 20 years. And anytime he comes into Atlanta,
bring it up.
You know what I'm saying? Anytime he comes into Atlanta, he reach out to a brother. And I've always been thankful for that. So Omar Finley, the listening tree. I'm a noob. And proud to be one. Beta Chi to the day I die.
All right. And go ahead, Terrence.
Yeah, I'm Terrence Thornton, and I'm out of Goldsboro, North Carolina. I'm actually a EC teacher, school teacher. I teach at Wilson Preparatory Academy. I graduate from Elizabeth City State University. I'm a member of the mighty LG chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. The Bros.
Go ahead, David.
Hey, what's up, family? David Bynes from South Florida, Fort Lauderdale to be exact. And currently a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And currently I work in higher education at Florida Atlantic University, doing diversity work, and also working on my PhD in curriculum and instruction.
Right. Go ahead, Marcus.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sonny Smith. I'm hailing out of Baltimore, Maryland, Alpha Omega alumni chapter of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a graduate of
All right. Can each one of y'all do your core one at a time? DJ?
Yo.
I'd be G5, and the response would be 6 deuce.
Terrence? David?
Man.
19, and the response would be 06.
Boy.
63.
All right. So I'm going to ask each one of y'all to answer this. EJ, what made you pledge?
Well, for me, I always tell folks, I'm completely honest. So when I got to school, the only fraternity I was familiar with was Alpha Phi Alpha. Pretty much all the gentlemen that kind of encouraged me and helped me get through high school and motivated me to go to school were alphas. So that's really all I know. So I was just like, that's what I'm gonna do. But then I realized, okay, once I got to school, there's a myriad of different organizations, and I took the time to kind of investigate, talk to friends who were members, to kind of get their point. But then I saw something at our CAF one day that had an interest meeting for Group by Group, and I was like, well, sheesh, I haven't heard of these guys yet, so let me kind of investigate. So I happened to come across a guy that I was in a freshman dorm with. So I had a relationship with him. So he was willing to be, really candid with me. And the philosophy of the organization, it really touched me. Right, I was really motivated by it and felt aligned. So ultimately, we're at our school, Hampton University. Shout out to the Pirates. At our school, we didn't have much representation in groups. So I said, why not just do something a little bit different, right? And I happened to confide in one of my best friends, saying, hey, I'm thinking about actually doing this. And he was like, dude, you're not going to believe this, but I am too. I was like, all right, well, shoot, if you're in, then I'm in. Let's go do it. And that's what really kind of drove me, right, was the philosophy behind Group by Group, which is, really all about empowerment, creating leaders with, paying, also providing homage to our African American culture. Hence the name Group by Group. So it really resonated with me, and that's ultimately what led me to become a member.
Okay. What about you, Omar?
Man, it's a long. This is a long time coming. Right. I decided to become a noob in the 6th grade. My sister had I had known about Kappa Alpha Psi, but my sister had went to a school in Michigan called Ferris State University in Big Rapids. And so she took me out there. Her boyfriend was a Sigma. My cousin was a Omega, right? And it was just funny because we went, I've always been one I could dance. I could always dance since I was a little boy, And so they took me to a step show, and the Noops killed it, right? Kappa Alpha Psi, I'm talking about, they had to me, the most incredible thing I'd ever seen. And at that moment, I was saying to myself, yo, that's exactly what I want to do. But I wasn't sure yet. So my sister took me to what was like, it was like the grill at Hampton. So at the Hampton, when we used to be at the grill, everybody hung out at the grill. So you saw all the different fraternities and sororities. And Kappa Alpha Psi, they was just so smooth. Like everybody else was, and, you know what I'm saying? And Kappa was just easy. You know what I'm saying? They did it so clean. The clothes was right. The vibe was sweet. I was like, yo, that is me. And I decided back then, 6th grade. And so fast forward, we went into that 6th grade. That was 92. Okay. Fast forward to 90. No, hold on. Just kidding. 6th grade, that was
89,
89. 89, yeah. Yeah, so that was 89. So fast forward to 96, you know what I'm saying? We get to Hampton University, and I was literally searching for them. Literally, so I ended up connecting with a new named Randy, Daryl, and Aaron. And they just, they put their diamond on me. They, I already had my own swag anyway, and our whole class really was like that. Like it didn't matter which way everybody went, but that's what happened. Is back in 6th grade, I absolutely decided that I wanted to be a noob for the rest of my life. And as soon as I got to college, I promise you, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And so I ended up joining Beta Chi at Hampton University.
Awesome. And my cousin Harold went to Hampton, and that's how I got plugged in with you guys. And I appreciate you guys coming on. I really do. And I inboxed my cousin and was like, yo, much love, cuz. Thank you for connecting.
Yeah.
Terrence,
And he was my back, by the way.
he's your back?
He's my back. I'm 4 club, he 5 club.
Okay. Now break down what the back is.
And still my back today. Trust me. If I call him, we get it done. And I'm talking on the highest levels.
Yeah. Terrence, now you.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I went to college and I didn't really have a background with any of the fraternities. Throughout high school, I played sports, ended up with a scholarship to Elizabeth City State playing football. And that was my chance to see some of the brothers actually on the field. I've seen the alphas, I had teammates that were alphas, sigmas, kappas, and omegas. I mean, so I just was looking, I would look at the different guys, and I was a freshman. So I mean, it wasn't like I was attracted to, I was just me. I went hard. I was just that kind of guy. So I started to notice how they were. I saw the alphas, how the alphas, they were kind of little, nerdy guys, and then you had the kappas. They were all about the pretty, that was it. They were pretty. They wanted to be pretty. Everything was pretty. I'm a little more rugged than they are. The sigmas, they were cool. The sigmas were cool. But it was something about the omegas, man. A few of the guys with the omegas, they had that gritty side to them, as well as they still, they had that side where they knew when to turn it on. They had the charm, they had the girls. And I actually liked that a lot of the coaches and stuff, they were active. They did stuff around. So I went with the fraternity that kind of reminded me of myself, and omegas, that's what, something about that dog, baby. Something about that dog. When I hear that atomic dog come on, I'm hopping. I'm there. Even at 43 years old, it makes me want to get up. It makes me want to just do something. I might can't give you that long. I might can give you about, a couple minutes, but I'm gonna give it to you.
Hey.
And it is what it is. Like I said, I even actually have a son who just went over Omega Psi Phi at Fayetteville State, DG. This year.
Dope, man.
It's Omega, man. Omega, that's where they remind me of myself. They were the ones I closely matched to. So that's where I went in. Went in where I fit in.
Love. What about you, David?
Wow. I really don't know that I'm too much different than the other brothers. I will piggyback off of EJ. I initially started out college at Cheney State University, just outside of Philadelphia. And my freshman roommate was a member of G5G. And so I initially was after going to college, not knowing anything, we were on the football team together. And so I was kind of looking at that, but then I decided to transfer. And so I transferred to a school, Brother Terrence, coming your way, Elon University down in Elon, North Carolina. And, when I got there, literally from the RA that checked me in to, a couple other brothers that I just happened to meet on campus, just strolling through when I first got there in the first week or two. 2 of them became my line brothers, but all of them, were alphas, and still wasn't interested in doing a fraternity. I had transferred to play football, probably about, 2 months in. I stopped playing football and really wanted to focus on my academics. And, and so I've always considered myself to be an intellectual. So I did some looking around. And like the brother said, when you're connecting and looking to connect, being away from home, I found, on a national level, that's what I was connecting to and was being drawn to on a local level. So ultimately, that's the way that I decided to go and join my freshman year and, had a great experience the full 4 years that I was there.
Okay. What about you, Marcus?
Well, I guess I'm gonna be the one that coming a little bit different. I'm a project child, So where I'm from, Harlem, New York, not many fraternities came to my projects. So the only fraternity that really came to my projects was a local fraternity called Order of the Feather, which I didn't realize at that time was a local fraternity. So they was the only ones that I seen until I got to college. And when I went to Morgan, I had no clue what fraternity life is. I just knew that they came to my projects, so I wanted to be a part of them because they made a difference in my life, not realizing that they was local. However, when I got to Morgan, I started hanging around brothers who literally had the same mentality as those fraternity members of Order the Feather. So it was almost kismet for me to become a member of Iota Phi Theta, because I found myself doing community service with them without realizing that I was doing community service with them. And when I found out that I was actually doing community service, I was inside of a Baltimore City project. So pretty much doing a full circle type of thing that local fraternity did with me. So it was a no-brainer for me. Everybody else was, to be quite honest, the stereotypical 1980s fraternity, except for that organization. And then also, it's weird to say, but also, except for the Fellowship of the Grooves on Morgan's campus.
Okay.
So that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. Well, that's a blessing that you guys are in brotherhood. It's a blessing that you finished out. Now, when you figured out which one you wanted to join, how intense is the pledging? I've heard about it, but I want to hear from you guys. How it's look at Omar's face. How intense and what you had to do while pledging.
Well, that's a weird question.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Wait a minute.
I don't know stories, but since I have you guys, I wanted to know if you can tell
You got her remote here for this one?
I put in
how deep it was, how intense, because I heard it could be intense.
Mm.
So you gotta really look at it as
who got the courage to go first on this question?
I'll run point. All right, it's cool. You got to look at it as a rites of passage, right? It's a transition. It's really a process, right? A transition to take you to the next level mentally, right? You got to look at it as though the process is a microcosm of life. Stuff happens to you in life that you have absolutely no control over, right? But you still got to deal with it, right? So it's really no different for any military folks here. The leadership training that we've got to go through. It's no different than that. Presenting obstacles for a group of young men to work together, use their intellect to be able to solve that problem, right? And have that become a trend mentally. It's a rite of passage. And again, you look at it as though it's a microcosm of life. Stuff happens, you still got to deal with it. Are you going to fold? You're going to step up and deal with what you need to face.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree with EJ on that one. It's a microcosm of life, right? You learn what you learn in the pledge process. You can never let go of. Like you never forget it. It's something that locks inside of you that it really does change you in a very good way when you finish, right? And it's only when you finish. And it's like when you say intense, I'm not sure there's a word for it. To be totally honest with you, I'm not sure that there's a word for the level of intensity that it takes to cross. right? It's not, it will, you know, go through your interior in a way that brings you from being one young man to becoming a different man when it's all said and done. And you almost have an unspoken friendship with anybody who's been through it. And it's just so easy. It's just so easy to connect with. And I do mean this on every level, with brothers from all fraternities and sororities. Brothers and sisters, excuse me.
I would definitely have to agree with that one.
Okay,
Well, I kind of look at it as when I say fraternity, you say the pledge. I look at it the biggest fraternity in the world. To me, I look at it as sports.
Yeah.
And I mean, even with like football, basketball, and baseball, as I tried out for teams, for you to make the team, you have to go through some things.
That's
You
right.
have to be willing to do some things in order to make the team. And it was the same thing with the fraternity and the pledging. Now, trust, we did a little more intense things, you know, than to just say, okay, you're in, you know, and on the team, you know. But when it came down to it, it did create a bond. And that's just like in sports, you create a bond. You create a bond if y'all win a championship. If you win a championship or you go to that next level, or when you go to the championship game, it's a bond that's created that you started the year out with these people. You practice, you dedicated yourself, and after it all was over, you were working for a championship. The same thing with the process of pledging. You have to be willing to dedicate yourself and commit with each other. Everybody's not going to get along, but you have to try and get along for the better of the line. It's all about the better of the line. And it's a process in which it taught me more of humility than anything. It actually taught me humility in a way where I wasn't used to being the guy that backed down. I'm used to if you touch me, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. You no reason even. I'm from Goldsboro. That's how I go. If you want to go, we can go. That's how I get started. You know, but the fraternity, it was a humbling process. It was a humbling process, and it was where it's to the pledging and stuff did make it where I learned how to be as one and work with the brothers on a common bond. So the pledging was real, and it was a process I'll never forget. I'll never forget.
Yeah, I love the idea that it's a rites of passage, and so when you take a deep dive into it, any pledging process that we talk about, right? Sports, fraternity, whatever, it has its roots in Kemetic science or in the Egyptian mystical schools,
That's
and
right.
so what I loved about it was that it was a process meant to bring us out of this Europeanized way of thinking. And even if just for those 7, 8, 9 weeks, 16, whatever, however long it lasted for folks, it brought you back into that idea of who we are as African men, right? Of the diaspora. And so the idea of the Egyptian mystery schools was you entered in, you didn't have pen or paper back then, right? You didn't have any tools to write anything down. So it was all rooted in oral history. It worked on your mindset. It taught you how to critically think. And ultimately, as the brother said, it brought you back into this place again from being so Europeanized and thinking selfishly as an individual and narcissistically, back into the understanding that we as a people, that we are communal and collective naturally. And so that's what the pledging process was ultimately meant to do, was to bring you back into unison as one unit, no matter how many folks there were, but to get you to come back into that original space of who you are, right? Naturally. So, it was a lot of things to go through, but ultimately, when you can understand the process and understand that there is a point to the process and submit yourself to that, then you understand that it's worth it.
Marcus.
So basically, everybody's pretty much saying the same stuff. It is a rites of passage. The biggest thing I would take away is the fact that you pretty much learn yourself during this process. Because if you are a member of a large family, you know where your pecking order is. If you are a member of a small family, you become a member of a large family. But the biggest thing is family. And the rites of passage literally comes from, to me, it doesn't matter what organization you're in, because each and every one of us can pick and choose a part of our own individual process that will make us relate to each other if it's done right. If it's done right. So.
Now, what did each one of you guys gain besides being brotherhood? What does your fraternity do for the community, and what are you still doing for the community?
Well,
I mean, let me start by saying this. What don't they do? And then go from there. Because if you actually start to say what these fraternities do, you're looking at 1,000 years worth of history that you're going to have to start to think about what was being done from inception. So I guess for the sake of this, it's, if you want to know something about civil rights, we do that. If you want to know something about voting, we do that. It's a little bit of everything that we do. And then at the core of it, we are the people who are, I guess the best way to put it is, in your face when it's time for the feeding of a child, the feeding of the community, the handing out of this, the handing out of that.
Yeah, I think Marcus is spot on here. When you look at the histories of our organizations, right, our members are right at the forefront, right, from 1906 on, right, and even before then, right. So we're everywhere. If you look at the civil rights movement, right, it was members of each and every organization, you know, from Delta Sigma Theta and Sigma Gamma Rho to the Alpha Phi Alpha, Omega Psi Phi, the Grooves. We were founded in the height of the civil rights era, specifically, motivated by that time period. So we're embedded in the fabric of the continuous improvement of the socio and economic status of Black people in America. We're there. We are the thread.
Yeah, and when you really gauge it and look at it, what you realize is that any movement that has happened, we were part of it, if not the engine in it.
Indeed.
And so you can go back and look at all of these different pieces of history, and you will always find brothers from the fraternities in those movements. And you asked today, I think I like the piece where you said, what are we doing today? Because for me, that's an opportunity to tell you, right? All these brothers now have made a very, very clear point that fraternity helped us realize ourselves as a Black man, right? Very clear, right? We want to go ahead and draw the line now. And many of us have already had a certain idea, but there's so many levels of intelligence, if you will, if we want to use that word, like I'm talking intelligence in the terms of military intelligence, that you come into when you get knowledge of self. And that's what our brother said when he said you learn about yourself, right? And so for me personally, I can tell you what we're doing. You see it on my chest here. That's the listening tree, right? You see that brown child right there. That brown child, you see those hands protecting them, right? A lot of people are hollering Black Lives Matter. What I like to say is if somebody come at this brown child, you're going to get these hands. Y'all follow me? And so, but the point I'm making is that we have a knowledge of self in the listening tree to this very day. We're committed to Black authorship. We teach our children how to own and operate their own businesses. So in the pandemic, we opened up 22 LLCs for children ages 8 to 12 and ages 13 to 18. At the moment, we have we have a lot of other things going, but I mentioned to you earlier that we have a book club where children receive their book and newsletter every month. And that newsletter always deals with the things that are important to Black people financially, economically, right? And things of equity. We draw at the listening tree, we draw the line because we've been tricked generation after generation with the idea of social justice. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that our community understands that when you control economics, you control the social as well. And so that's something that we're teaching the next generation every day, all day. And you can get us at listeningtreebooks.com. And you see this is a shirt, you get this shirt. And if you want to just have a little bit of a noob swag, you go ahead and get that maroon. You know what I'm saying?
So let me speak to the impact of that kind of effort, right? From, this is Omar's baby right here. Him and his wife are driving this down in Atlanta, and we subscribe to it, right? And the impact that it has when I look at my 10-year-old is now he's earning a salary in my house. Right. We work on talking about signing a contract and having expectations and you meeting those obligations. Right. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you fail to meet your goals from an annual perspective or from a weekly perspective, there's consequences that come with that. Right. You got 5 chores to do. You get paid $5 each. You can maximize your potential here. Right. Helping him understand those concepts now so that we can help influence that entrepreneurial spirit. Or if he comes, if he follows in my footsteps, he can speak the same language that these executives and these C-levels are speaking, right, and get his goals accomplished. That's that kind of impact. And Omar is and there's a lot of other brothers like him out here that are trying to drive that, right, and hit home early. We do it with Groove through our leadership academy, right, trying to give these young men the skill sets that they're going to need, and young sisters as well. Please, I didn't mean to exclude the sisters, but to give these Black boys and girls the tools that they need to be successful in the environment that they're coming up in. And with our generation specifically, we're really unique in the sense that we come from an analog as well as a digital background, right? We were there at the beginning of it. So we still have a little bit more time left to be able to still connect with them, which is, I think, one of the main challenges that we face today is, that generational connectivity. Well, us here, those Generation Xers, we still have a little bit more time left where we can still engage with these folks and help them understand and give them the guidance that they truly need.
Absolutely.
We're bridgers. Generation X, we're bridgers. And so I love that, right? And most of us are just old enough, right, that we still connect, with those are just ahead of us. And we're young enough that we still connect with the millennials. So I come from a background where my experience shaped me. It led me into service. So I've been in education now for, I don't know, probably close to 20 years at all levels. So I started out in the classroom, then moved into higher education. I've been an associate dean, and so I've been able to, have young men and women see me at some of the highest levels on a college campus. And right now, I'm one of the lead, social justice educators at our university. And so at a time such as this, folks are, looking to me, right? And so for me, it's always been about mentorship, and spiritual life. So my wife and I, we've had a church. We had a church for about 12 years. Then we transitioned into spirituality and consciousness. And so now we still have a small teaching group that we do. Um, and ultimately for us has always been about teaching people about light, right? And being there, allowing them to hear truth, like seek out truth, speak truth, and
Amen.
of course live by truth. And so, as the brothers have said, it's about having people understand that we are here for a purpose, right? And as we begin to understand that purpose, it is now our responsibility to bring other people along.
That's right. That's right.
Uh, when when we came, well, when I came into the fraternity, they were telling us after we had pledged and everything, the hardest part is after you get in. And we a lot of us were like, "What, man? After all we done did, you think, come on? The hardest part is what?" And if you really look at it, it's true. And I'm not saying just for my fraternity, but just as well as the Kappas, the Alphas, the Omegas, everyone, we all are in the fraternity, and it's where the community is our aspect, kind of output for us to do as young men as we have came into the fraternity for, from voting to mentoring the kids. We have programs, I mean, numerous programs, and it's not just the Omegas, it's all of us, and even the females as well. I feel that the sororities do the same thing. It's a part of us being into the community when you come into the fraternity. It's a part that goes hand in hand. It's hand in hand for you to do it. It's not like you have an option. It's where this is what's promoted. If you're gonna do right and you want to do right by your fraternity, then you're gonna have to get out there. For me, even mentoring at the school, and even when I'm not at the school, just anytime I see a kid, if I could give them words of wisdom, I'm gonna do it. That's what I do. And he can come back later and look and say, hey, that Omega, I remember talking to him, or that Kappa, I remember talking to him, or that Alpha. When you talk to them and you give them those words of wisdom, and you're telling them something that can help them in the long run, they might not even see it then. They might not see it then, because even growing up, sometimes God, they gave us wisdom. We'd ignore it. We didn't see it. We didn't see it. But then we come back in later in life, we be like, yo, I remember he said that. I remember Mr. So said that. And that was something that I should have used then. But even with me not using it then, it was something I remember. So then now I can go teach it to someone else. So my thing is, it was hand in hand. Once you came in, the hard part is once you in, because you got to get in the community and do your thing.
Man.
And you know what?
Man, that's powerful. That's
Do
powerful,
you guys
Terrence.
know the
Man.
I'm gonna say it, the black love, the black brothers, and showing, because society doesn't see this. And I wanted to bring this on, and I am so happy I was able to get a lot of you guys on here. Hello to brother Sean Tucker. Hello to Ryan Mass. He's Groove. He says peace to the Groove. Sean Tucker just crossed over, and he's a big brother of mine who mentors me. And I'm just so thankful that you guys are here speaking, because a lot of people don't see or understand what fraternity really is. And it's sad to say these little kids, African Americans, don't see outside of their community. So I always like to try to show them more outside. Like, look, don't think of just your community. Think outside the box. Think outside. Broaden your horizons. Don't stop here. Let's keep going. And it's so good that you guys stay in touch with each other. It's so good that you show the brotherhood. It's so good that you guys are heavy in the community, because this is what we grew up with. Villages. I know I grew up with a village, and the way you guys sounds like you grew up with villages. These kids now don't have villages. So it's great that we are being villages, because it just takes that one person that could steer a child to the right direction. So I love it, and I love everything you guys are saying, the knowledge you're dropping. I love it. So again, I thank you. So now let's go on to what are you doing now? What is your career, EJ, if you can say?
Yeah, so I work for a Fortune 10, and I'm in the mobility space, primarily telecom IT, in charge of the Army and Air Force across the country. So that's what I do professionally. Outside of work, I'm a political junkie, so I gotta get my my fix pretty much every day. It's quite comparable to me. But outside of that, I'm a football coach. I mentor several young professionals across the DMV area. And then I'm a special needs dad, which means I'm pretty much a special needs advocate, specifically around rare genetic disorders that cause craniosynostosis, which my son suffers from. But also in trying to protect kids like that too, advocating for, trying to get kids to stop bullying, right? Because my son looks uniquely different than everybody else. So trying to teach kids to be a little bit more open-minded, right? And it's hard. I think that's the toughest job I've got. Omar, I tell you, I'm a highly emotional dude, right? Or passionate. Yeah, passionate is the term. And I've got little tolerance for BS. So whether you're 7
What
or
I
70,
always
I'm
loved
going
about
to
you,
teach you.
brother.
Yeah.
Let's go.
People tell you they doesn't hold back. I'm pretty frank. But that's the hardest part, right? But it's also part of trying my own growth, and then again trying to influence kids of all kinds of backgrounds to be a little bit more accepting. If you can accept a child who looks different due to a disability that's not their own fault, then maybe you can be a little bit more open to the challenges like Black people face, and understand that yeah, we know all lives matter, but we're talking about Black lives right now specifically, right? And some folks kind of miss that context. So I try to do what I can. Yeah. So that's me in a nutshell today, ma'am.
Okay. Omar?
Wow. So yeah, so I mentioned it already. What I do is I'm in the business of changing the next generation, if I can really, coin it. I wake up every day. I run a children's bookstore. Our bookstore just recently, during the pandemic, we were added to Beyonce's, what is it called? Black Parade. And then we were added to Oprah's list of Black bookstores. And all of this was highly publicized. And, right now, we've been reached out to by a bunch of other names like that. But what we've done is, who we are committed to Black people. And we don't try to fix it with people of color, or, we don't try to make it, all inclusive. We're committed to making sure that we produce material that is good for Black children, that will help Black children develop a worldview that allows them now to come on to, say, CNN and have an intelligent conversation from their own vantage point, one of their own self-interest, right? So that's the listening tree. And so we're a bookstore. That bookstore is committed to Black authorship. When you spend money at the listening tree, it's the third time that you've spent. Y'all see that? Man, that's dope. It's the third time that you've spent, right? You know me. Hey, look. But it's the third time. It's the third time that you've spent money in the Black community. Okay, so we bank Black. We buy from Black authors. And when we sell to the public, which is, we have, customers in every area. That is the third time the money has bounced in the Black community. And now we're working on the 4th, 5th, and 6th with our Young Entrepreneurs Program. So we're building an infrastructure for the next generation so that they can have networks to where in a way that they can secure their wealth, right? And that it doesn't end up getting out of their hands, but that they have trust, they have real estate, they have businesses, and they have people who know how to commit to what's going on. Like Terrence said earlier, he was like, it's like a pool to do something after you finish. It's like after you go through all this, what you're gonna do with your life. And so this is what God called me to. He called me to, me and my family, me and my wife, to teach our community, how to own and operate, to have our book club, and now, to continue to grow our bookstore and take it wherever it goes. Because this is one of the first products that we have. It's not a book, but I think it speaks to the interior of every child.
Okay. What about you, Terrence? Because we talked a lot. So go ahead, Terrence. Tell them what we was discussing. And also, wait, Terrence, hold on. Omar, give your link. Let them know where they can donate if they want to donate funds. Give them your links.
Okay. Make sure where you go, guys, go over to listeningtreebooks.com, right? And if you're looking to donate, go ahead and grab the gift certificate, right? You can do a gift certificate. The way we do it is you just leave a little note. You say that's what you want to do, and we will make that available to someone else. If you want to sponsor a child to become a part of our Young Entrepreneurs Program, that program is $120 to start, and $60 a week, and it lasts for 6 weeks. And what you do is you just log on, you buy somebody you sponsor a child. You log on to listeningtreebooks.com, click on Young Entrepreneurs Program, and sign them up ages 8 to 12, ages 13 to 18. Also, you go to listeningtreebooks.com and click on B-Boys and B-Girls Book Club, because we the hip-hop generation. So we B-Boys and B-Girls, right? So anyway, the point I'm making to you is you click on that and you sign them up for the book club, and they'll start getting books and newsletters every month. At the moment, we're really working hard to bring in the third portion, which is our virtual space. It's already built. Everybody has passwords, but we're bringing in people to help us out to get our members active. And so we always working on ways to bless our community. So listeningtreebooks.com.
So Omar, so people, even if they don't live in Atlanta, the children can still join.
Yes. Everything is virtual. So during the pandemic, we literally had 20, 30, 40 students learning virtually how to own and operate their own business. And so that's no matter where you are in the world. Young Entrepreneurs Program and Book Club, you can join and really get the same experience. You really get a rich experience. It's not disconnected. We make a point to make sure that we stay connected in some way, shape, or form.
Great. I'm gonna sign my voice up.
There we go. Let's go.
Terrence, what about you?
Well, okay. Oh, these guys are doing big things. I am a school
I love
teacher.
it because they'll be back on personally for an interview, so we can keep making it bigger.
I got you. I'm actually I told you I teach at Wilson Preparatory Academy, in which there as a school teacher I do my thing trying to start working with the young males. I do have a nonprofit organization that has we currently I just started it up, Faithful Future Fathers. It's actually where it's working with young men and working with some of the guys from the college. I have got some mentors over at North Carolina Central who actually I'm trying to link with them to work some things with the guys. COVID came into play and it knocked us a little bit. But we're still looking to do the Faithful Future Fathers, just working with young men and giving them a chance to see different aspects of mentors that they wouldn't normally see for the guys that they don't see. It's a lot of times you got the teachers a lot of teachers don't look like the students. I didn't see a teacher that looked like me until middle school.
Right.
So for it to take that long, that's kind of, crazy. So what I do is I want to just give them an opportunity to see the guys that they don't see, to see the black dentist, to see the black lawyer, to see the black doctor, the ones that they don't see, give them an opportunity to see them so that they can say, hey, I can be there someday. I can actually, I want to do that. I'm also active in the community with my church. Actually, your cousin Harold, he's a member of the Kingsmen at we're Elevation Baptist Church, and basically we're a group of guys. We go out in the community and do feeding the homeless, to actually just going out and maybe doing some bowling and having fun together with the crew, or even clean up the churches and stuff. We just do different things throughout the community, as well as for the church, and promoting us guys to get together and fellowship. You know, we do that to fellowship. And the last but not least thing I do is I'm a member of a Bible study strong group. Man, we have about 12 of us brothers, and we meet from 7 to 9 on Sunday evenings, and we get spiritually fed. It's a great group. We do our thing. It's a great time for me. It helps me stay on point. I need that weekly, that spiritual food to keep me going throughout the week. You know, so that's what makes it where I can do and give and do as much as I do. I need that spiritually, and to help me rooted and grounded and keep my foundation where it needs to be. So like I said, I just try to stay active doing that, and that's me.
Awesome. Do you have a website set up?
Actually, I don't have a website currently. It's something I'm looking to do, but we're working on. I'm trying to work on doing the Zoom thing. So, what I wanted to do was take the young men and do a Zoom with them, as well as I have a brother who works with some of the NFL players. He's our coach on one of the teams, so I'm going to try and look for him to try and give me one guy a week to speak with the guys, so they can keep them where it's okay. If they can get on the Zoom to get a chance to speak with one of the players, as well as, like I said, or maybe one of the players a week, and maybe even have on like a dentist or a lawyer as well, to give the guys something to do. So I'm working on that, but it's not, I swear, sometimes it's not enough hours in the day when you're teaching in this virtual thing, teaching right now. EC with virtual, it is real. It is real. Like I said, right?
Real is not
real.
even the word. It is. It is.
this virtual school right now, they are really working me.
I be like this sometimes. I be
Thank you, brother.
sitting across my son, and I'm
They are
listening
working
to
me.
the 10-year-old, and I'm like this. Now, we teach at home, okay? But this Common Core math thing, that be having me like, I'm like, what happened to regular 5 times 5? What is this that you got to do extra? I'm like, you know what? I got to do a woosah. I got to walk. Because you teach them the old school way, they're like, I'm going to get in trouble. We got to do it the core way. We got to break it down. No, Mom. And I'm like, it's the same answer. What is the problem?
That's the way
Why
they teach.
do they make it more difficult for these kids? Look, I'm a paralegal. I'm an entrepreneur. Hello? I did it old school. What's the problem? So trust me when I tell you, we split it up between their father and me. I'm like, okay, I got English and I got history. You have science and you have math, because math and science is similar. I can't do that. So when I plan vacations and everything, I make sure we have a schedule. I make sure we're learning, but we're still gonna have fun on a vacation, but we're gonna learn while we're there too. We're gonna learn about, okay, we visit in Pennsylvania, we're gonna learn the history of Pennsylvania while we're there. And then when you go back to school, you already ahead of the game. While they're teaching, you be like, yeah, I went there just over the summer. Yep, I know about the Liberty Bell, blah, 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 blah. So I have now, my oldest is graduated, but I have a 15-year-old and I have a 10-year-old. So I'm looking ahead. Okay, summer's in. What are you going to learn when school starts again? Okay, so let's go visit this location. Let's go visit that location, because I know this is the criteria you're about to learn. So let me help you ahead of time. And we do need an African American class. It should not be just what they want to tell us in February. Now, so I teach them at home. Let's do, okay, I'm going to pick out an African American person you have not heard about, and we're going to do research on it. This is how you're going to learn. So then you can school them and be like, no, y'all stole that from us too. No, y'all stole that from us. No, y'all came and stole the land, you know? So my 10-year-old is like his mother, a spitfire. So he will He'll be like, no, where does it say that? You have to show me something. So he'll test the teachers. He's like, no, I learned this at home. No, you're incorrect. And they don't like that. But I tell them, be respectful, but let them know that's not correct. What you're going to teach is you're going to teach us properly. You're not going to give us, oh, Columbus found or America. And no, he was like, no, y'all stole our land. And how can they argue with that?
Yeah.
But if we're not teaching our kids about history, the real true facts, they're going to be walking around naive. And we don't want that. So I appreciate you, brothers. I really do. And I appreciate for all the other ones that put their hands in. And when you talked about, EJ talked about disability and Terrence being a teacher with this, and I want to say not disabled, they're just unique. But we're teaching the other kids around that's never seen that how to interact and not to look at them one way, but embrace them and realize that they're just unique. They just have a different way of learning, different way of how they act, and we're gonna go ahead and get to that. We're gonna go ahead and show you and introduce you so that way you don't look at them and be discriminating against. Because my son, my youngest son, I can only tell a little bit of his testimony, and when he gets older, he could tell the rest of it. But when he was born, we had complications, and so come 1 year old, I would say stuff, and I was like, okay, now you're supposed to be talking and everything, but you're not interacting like you should, and you have to scream for him to hear you. I was like, something's wrong. But he kept getting ear infections, ear infections. He was only hearing 20 to 30%. Like his hearing was clogged because he had so much ear infection that it was clogging his hearing. So he was hearing like he was underwater. Now with the state, in order to get earplugs and things to that nature, you have to have 12 ear infections, things like that, before they can even do the ear tubes or things to that nature. Well, yeah, that's not happening with my child. You're not going to make his hearing go lesser. So he got the ear tube, but then he had to do speech. But you have to fight for that too. Now, I made sure we lived in a suburb area where the school systems are top notch. So there's speech classes. You have to make sure he's getting the proper work. But if you're not those hands-on parents and you're not fighting and knowing your rights and things to that nature, so it is us parents who need to be hands-on. And sometimes we have to be the advocate for the other kids if their parents don't know. And
Yeah,
David,
I think you're spot on with that piece. It's a team approach, right? We're talking about fraternities and how that correlates to team chemistry. Well, when it comes to educating our kids, there's so much the school systems can do, right? And I think we all understand that, and hence why we participate politically and within the Board of Education. But it requires that engagement to the teachers too, right? So if you're engaging the teacher theoretically, right, then it should be two-way conversations for what's best for the child. Unfortunately, we know that's not always the case, and some folks just don't know what teamwork actually is. But at the same time, right, it's about setting that example. So I think all of us here with teachers like Terrence, right? We know you're struggling out there, brother. We're struggling there with you. So that's why we try to, I'm getting ready to buy my son's teacher like a case of wine. She looks like she needs it, to be quite honest with you. She might even be drinking during class. Sometimes we can't tell. But yeah, it does take teamwork, man. So I think you're spot on. We've got to be advocates for our kids as well as the other kids, because not everybody's in the same situation. Which with this virtual environment, I'm clearly seeing what's happening in other people's homes. Not the same, unfortunately.
Yeah. All I can say is yes to that. That's what we do. It's like Sunshine. It's a lot like you. I take the science and math. My wife was an English major. She takes English and everything else. And for the most part, they're all self-starters. But that's because that's what we've been after for so long. Like we started there. I won't lie to you, because that's what we want. That's what we want for our children. We want them to own and control. So we try to show them how to own and control their life now.
Yeah.
You know.
And now, David, you said you're a dean?
Not at the current moment. I have served as an associate dean. Then I jumped out of higher ed. So professionally, I am a equity, diversity, inclusion specialist at the university that I work at. I also work with our Black student community on campus. And so that's professionally. And then outside of that, though, I have a spiritual community that we still meet up with once a month. Have a mentorship community in which I mentor millennials and Gen Zers, as I call them. And whether that's, again, in the professional realm, just everyday life. And then my wife and I also have a company that we call Destiny Speaks Coaching and Consulting. And so out of that, we do life coaching, spiritual coaching, as well as small business coaching. My wife has a doctorate in organizational development. And I am completing my doctorate in curriculum and instruction. And so we do some consultingships with schools, municipalities, as well as individuals. And then finally, so I talked a little bit about how we dissolved our church. And we have a spiritual community. We're kind of dissolving that as well because we're thinking through and kind of bringing to scale right now an idea of a community university. And so we're looking to launch what we're calling the University of the Commons. And so that will be a community-based university, literally where folks from the hood, all right, that's never had a chance to go to school or anybody that wants to take a class. So I'm teaming up with some faculty at the university that I work at with folks that are in the African American Studies area, in health, mental health area. And we're developing this concept that we want to bring to people and they'll be able to come and take a class. We haven't set tuition, but it will be affordable tuition, literally like, 100, maybe $150 a class, but it will be full blown. People will dedicate their time to teaching the courses and folks will be able. And so the idea is to take it back to the day where we had literary, and so fraternities will know this, right? All of our fraternities came out of this idea of literary societies, right? And so we're trying to take the concept back to literary societies, the idea of what's called literacy learning communities. And those were communities that developed. And so we know as Black folk, we didn't always have formal education, but what we did have was the passion to be educated. And so whether we're talking about our ancestors as slaves, we're talking about during the Reconstruction era or the Jim Crow era, we could always find Black folk creating, right, a means of education. And so we had some of the first homeschool systems before homeschooling was ever thought about, right? And so ideally, we want to bring this idea back to the community where we start to talk about our scholars, Cedric Robinson, who wrote the Black Marxists, and all these men and women that what we call the Black radical tradition or the Black intellectual tradition. And so we want to give people the opportunity to have those kinds of discussions and to increase their intellect, right? Without having to go and spend thousands of dollars to do that. And so that's the concept we're writing up right now and planning. And we hope to launch that by the summer of 2021.
Great. What about you, Marcus?
Sorry, I do apologize. I'm at work. Wow, everybody has so much stuff going on. Professionally, I own and operate my own graphic design company. As far as grassroots, I pretty much stick with community service. I mean, the best way I can put it is I get in where I fit in. I don't try to do more than what's needed in a community, because sometimes you can overpower somebody in the community, to whereas when people think that you're coming in and you pretty much taking over their community, and that's not my style. I want people to look up and see that, oh yeah, this is Sonny. He's been here from day one, doing things, the same things that we've been doing, and not trying to preach or look down on certain things that we've done. So I'm more community, grassroots, action driven when it comes to my community service. That's about it. Nothing spectacular, I guess.
I love it, you guys.
Well, that's all of that.
I love it. I love it. So where do you see, and I'll say it again when EJ comes back on, what is your vision to go further for 2021?
Wow.
Who wants to go first?
As
Well-
far as organization,
With your business, with your organization, with your business, what do you want to see, or what are you making happen for 2021? Okay, EJ just came back. So EJ, my question is, what do you see for 2021 for you and your business? Like,
for my business.
What is your vision to 2021 for yourself and for what you're doing?
Yeah, I can jump in if y'all want. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was like, I could go.
Yeah. I don't have no problem with this one. For 2021, vision for the listening tree is to literally be in several different schools, locally and nationally, to have 80 to 120 students per session in 4 sessions during 2021, to push our book club to 500 plus during that time, and to actually bring in 10 to 15 new people who actually work with the listening tree team, and they're actually making a living by working for the listening tree. And so it's something that they're committed to. So that's our vision. That's our vision for 2021. And we have some fundraising businesses that we just opened up. One of which we call Black Receipts Daily. And so that'll be an arm where we use to create funds for our startup businesses.
Okay. What about you, EJ?
So I guess I work for a Fortune 10. So from a business perspective, I just want to dominate what I did in 2020 as far as my goals go, and I'm having a great year. This will be tough. But when I think about it from the reason why we're here, the fraternal aspect of it, my personal goals is to continue connecting with some of the younger brothers to provide guidance. As I mentioned earlier, I think with our generation, we have that unique bridge, as David had put it, right? I think it was a perfect analogy. We serve as a bridge between multiple generations. So I know some of the challenges that it's like, trying to, with us, we have a real huge emphasis on growth in group by group, right? So trying to establish chapters and provide young guys the guidance on how to run meetings and how to think strategically, and keeping with the pulse of what's happening in their school, while still trying to advocate for the things that Groove's mission is right now, which is primarily around social justice and equality and equity, and developing great leaders. So that's part of what my goal is throughout the 2021, provide that guidance to our younger members. I do serve on our membership committee nationally as time allows or bandwidth allows. Again, in a special needs dad, no day looks the same, unfortunately, so you got to adapt. But ultimately, on the membership committee, we try to broaden our membership by focusing on things that are going to be more attractive to this younger generation. Like I said, with our expertise with being able to bridge those generations, I think we serve I think my generation serves a really unique position. But I think that's what I'm focused on for 2021, and then obviously participating in our various community service projects with our local chapter here. I'm a member of our DC graduate chapter, and we've got a block to block initiative where we're doing cleanup, as well as feeding the homeless, and do a turkey drive annually. So we're prepping up for that here. But I think we just got locked down in Maryland again. I don't know. I gotta go check the news. So that might change everything ultimately. But that's what I'd say my objectives are for 2021 as a member of the Group 5 group.
Nice.
What about you, Terrence?
Well, for the rest of 2020 and heading into 2021, of course, I still want to, the teaching thing is big, just to try and get that and pushing my faithful future fathers. The Bible study group, that's huge for me right now. I'm looking to go towards the spiritual aspect of making myself bigger and better. The Bible group I'm in is it's a guy named Reggie Hinton. Like I said, he has about 14 of us, and he was spiritually led. He just called, sent us all invitations, and it's have an incredible day. That's one of his books that he's written, and it's a daily devotion, and he goes in depth with it weekly. He gives us some passages. So I'm looking to grow spiritually, man. I'm just looking to keep continuing to grow spiritually, and as I grow spiritually, I feel it will help me fulfill more of my purpose, in which I think I'm in the direction, but I think I can get to that next level with the blessings that he continues to give me. It's there, man. God is blessing in this time like no other. A lot of people, they don't want to say it, but God is the one who's controlling this. Even with COVID and everything, that's one thing he preaches is pandemic proof. Pandemic proof. That's what he tells us. We're pandemic proof. During this time, my family has not missed a meal. We're good to go. We actually just closed on a home today. God is good. It's
Keep speaking
amazing
up.
what he's doing. It's amazing what he's doing during this. A lot of people like this is some of the worst times ever. No, I don't see that. I see the Lord has his people and he's going to take care. He's going to supply our needs. So I'm just giving back and trying to get there to grow spiritually. That's my main thing for now. Grow spiritually and meet more brothers like this. Meet more brothers who doing their thing. I like it.
The connections.
Wow.
2020 showed us. God wanted us to see us, and he also wanted us to bring forth everything that he installed in us. And it's been sad, but it's also been empowering, like you said, Terrence. So we're sharpening our skills. We had the shut-in time. We're able to read more. We're able to keep up our education. We're able to, okay, let me tweak this. Let me do that. Let me do this. Let me help here. I see something here. Let me try to start fixing that. So this is a time for us to focus on us and to build up. So I think 2020 has been rocky, but I also see God's hand all in it. Like
That's
God
right.
did not allow this to happen just to happen. He's intentional. He always has a plan for what he does.
Yeah.
David, where do you see 2021?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so for me, I'm big on working with millennials and, as I said, Gen Zers. So for me professionally, I'm getting ready to launch a new office of Black student success and advocacy at the university that I work at. So I'll be putting a lot of time in there. And again, that is right up my alley in terms of being able to focus on all things Black, but being able to focus on Black students and really bringing them into fold and into the understanding of who they are as individuals. And so I'm looking forward to that. I talked already a little bit about the University of the Commons, so I'll be doing that in terms of the community. And then personally, I'll be exploring pushing out more on the scholar and activist side as you know I move forward with this PhD, but I'll also be looking to launch a YouTube channel called Transcending Talks. And so that will again deal with the more so the spiritual side, you know, and moving that and continuing to educate folks in that arena.
Okay. And Marcus?
Professionally, just looking to build my graphic design company, Mass Designs. Personally, continue to do everything I was doing in 2020, barring this COVID situation. I believe the gentleman is correct. Maryland is about to get shut back down.
New York is
so it's gonna so it's gonna be a little bit hard to do everything that you wanted to do, but basically doing the things that you need to do to be spiritually grounded, be understandably patient, and to go for it for 2021.
Now, we made sure we put the links in to this podcast. We definitely want everyone to be linked up, connections, because that's what always works, us networking. And that's one thing about Does Speak Easy and myself. Me, personally, myself, love connecting. Connections network. Like one hand, like one hand helps the other hand. You know what I mean? We all cannot do it by ourselves. So I love the networking. I love the support. I love the dedication. Now, who's gonna step for us?
Say what?
Do a little stepping. Who wants
Oh wow. Wow. Hey, can I ask a quick question real quick? What is it? Marcus, did you say Mass Design?
Mass Design. Yep.
Is your website Mass Design Group?
It's Mass Design Group, yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm driving right now, but I can put the link in the chat room.
Yeah, I think I got it. massdesigngroup.org.
Sounds good.
Is that it?
I believe so. The fortunate thing is there's a few mass designs, so what I will do is I'll send you the link.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then
appreciate you.
Yeah. I just wanted to jump in and make sure I knew where everybody was at. I couldn't remember. I was sitting here trying to write it down. I know where E is at. I believe Terrence, you in North Carolina, right? Or did he fall off? But Terrence in North Carolina, right? Sunshine?
Terrence is in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Raleigh, North Carolina. Yes, sir. Raleigh, North Carolina.
I have family in Raleigh. Okay.
I'm in Raleigh.
Love.
And then David, where you at?
Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh no.
And I'm based out of Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Ravens.
Be more.
I love it.
Y'all beat my coach this weekend. You don't want to keep going there, Sunshine. For real. You don't want to keep going there.
I'm a Giants fan.
All right, so if y'all turn on some music, God do it. It's cool.
Okay, yes, I need you guys.
You got to pull out the cane, bro.
Hey, as I said, give me 5 minutes. Let me run to my trunk right quick.
All right.
Hold on.
Go. Let's get it. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll be right back.
Okay, great.
See, I think I'm a little worse off than Terrence. Today was leg day, so I'm struggling standing and going. I'm worried about going up these steps tonight, man. I might not make it.
Terrence, you gonna step?
Oh man,
Yeah,
man, it's been man.
everybody,
I don't know if I got it in me. I mean, hey, if you'd have told me, I would have told. I would have told my son. I would have told my son that Neo. I would have told that Neo to come out here and set it out. That's what I can tell him. Hey, set it out right now.
How far is it?
Yes.
he went over.
Hi, Marcus.
I was asking what year did everybody go over?
Mm.
I'm spring '97. Spring '97.
Spring 98.
Spring '99.
A lot of spring.
Let me see if I can get this high enough.
I'm fall '88.
Word.
All right. Spring '93.
Nice.
Now, I wanted to go to an all-black college, but my mother bribed me with a car, so I stayed local. And so I love the cute dogs with the hoo hoo hoo, and then I love the Kappa with the pretty boys. And look, I told my 15-year-old I could see him as a Kappa, and my 10-year-old I could see him as a Q. And yeah, I can picture that. Nah, seriously, he's the one that sets it off. He's 0 to 100 real quick. All right, Omar, let's go. And Terrence, you gotta do a little something after Omar. All right, Omar, go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
All right, so, yo, anybody, yo, I'll start the music. Hold on. Sorry.
Sunshine, you don't know what you just did here. You don't know what you just did here, man. Ever since he got beat in the freshman step show, he been trying to make up for it.
Hey, baby. Boy, you do look out, and I can't even mess with you right now. Hey, I'm gonna let you win now. What's the cup we all used to love?
I like R&B, don't you?
Yeah. I'm gonna run that
Chris Jones.
Faith Evans joint.
Over there lighting candles, setting the mood.
You can barely even hear it.
As long as we see you step, brother.
Huh?
As long as we see you step.
Let me see if y'all can hear this one. Y'all remember this? Can y'all hear that?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Man, I need a speaker. All right, here we go. E, this for you, E. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right, so here we go. Yo, hold on. Just happened.
Hey, what happened?
You
They
just
just
got
killed
kicked
my
out.
video.
Ron. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, Omar. Ron, what are you doing?
Somebody cut me off right there.
There you go. Go
Somebody
ahead.
hanging over there. All right, we good?
Yes,
Everybody
we are
video
good.
went on.
We'll let you warm up. Go ahead.
Don't worry.
A true Kappa. A true Kappa.
Oh no, baby. You keep looking. Let me show you something else. You ready?
Yeah, we
Show
ready.
you something. All right, that's good. But I can do it for days.
All right.
All right, oh.
Thank you,
You know what I'm saying?
Omar.
Appreciate you.
Come on,
Okay,
cute
you welcome.
dog. Come on, Terrence. Just a little. Come on.
Really?
I can't hear you.
Really?
Terrence, your volume. Your mic.
I got you. I ain't got no music. I ain't got no, you know
Hold
what I mean?
on, I'm trying to find it right now. Hold on.
Hold on, they getting the music. You can't get
Oh
out of
man,
it.
come on, man.
And
I've been
EJ,
moving
you
all
next,
day.
boo.
I've been moving all day.
Terrence, I understand just a little.
Ain't got nobody to record me. I ain't got nothing to sit it on.
Come on.
Can you hear that?
You can't resist. Shake it out, Terrence. Shake it out.
Oh, there it is.
Because EJ's next.
Okay. Make my daughter record me.
Okay.
Play.
Go ahead, baby girl. There you go. Go ahead, Terrence. Thank you. Come on, EJ.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm dead serious. This is leg day. I'm really barely standing up right now. I'm not playing.
He said, hold up.
What about you, David?
Oh, yeah.
David? Did he say peace?
He there. But I just see his picture.
Yeah, he had to go put his daughter to bed. Is what he sent over, but he sent over his contact information for us.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good brother right there, man.
Thank you, guys. So before we end out, what would you like to leave the viewers with?
Say that again.
Before we log off, what would you like to leave the viewers with?
Oh, wow. You know, I guess I would say we need to do what we're doing all the time, at all points in the day. Find ways to connect with one another while we're doing our best work. You know, like, so, you know, listen to these brothers. I heard people say they had churches. I heard people say that they had mentorship programs. You know, myself talking about, you know, business for Black children. You know, I think that we all bring something to the table that's relevant, and I think that we need to help one another, you know, make those things easily accessible. And so, you know, if I wanted to leave anybody with anything, is connect with the listening tree. I'll definitely say that, shameless, right? But at the same time, I say we need to find ways to connect with one another on every level, so that everything that we do is supported by each other, and everybody who's here actually possesses a lot of the same self-interest.
What about you, EJ?
I guess depending on the audience. So I see if there's any young people who are on the fence about joining any of our organizations, I'd encourage you to, you know, do your research. I'm living proof that you know, by exploring your options, you'll find the right home. We all offer something unique, and don't be afraid to ask questions, right? Don't go up and be like, hey, you know, how intense is pledging, right? But, you know, yeah, but don't be afraid to ask questions, right? So you can find what fits for you. And I'd say, you know, all of our organizations, we have graduate chapters. So even if you're not in an undergrad state right now, if you're, postgraduate, you're in the workforce, but you still have a desire, take a look. It's if you have a desire to, uplift Black men and Black women, and leveraging your skill sets, and you're not a member of an organization now, then, again, investigate it. We're open. We're always looking for members. We need as much manpower as we possibly can. We can get access to for the goals that we have as organizations in perpetuating the success of Black people. And I'd say to all the existing members of organizations, leave you with, as you can see here, you've got several different organizations, and some folks may have this assumption that there's some animosity amongst the organizations. There's no animosity. There's like friendly competition. But at the end of the day, we've all got the same goals, right? We all want to see the same thing at the end of the day. And here we are at a historic period of time where there's a member of a fraternal sorority organization that's about to be the vice president, right? This is some cool stuff to be able to bear witness to, right? So there is no animosity. We've got our friendly competitions, right? Between the pretty boys and the Q dogs, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, man, we're all here to get goals accomplished, which is uplifting our people. So let's keep that in mind, right? So AKAs, y'all can shine here for a few months, man, but don't get obnoxious with it. All right. We love y'all.
What do you want to leave the people with, Terrence?
I just say to the people, piggyback off EJ, everyone just wants to be successful, man. Everyone wants to be successful. The way to get there is stay focused. I say stay focused and continue to pray for your purpose. Pray for your purpose. As long as you pray and seek his face, and do what he's asking, you'll be surprised, man. He'll lead you and guide you right in the way that you need to go. And that's not even for just adults. That's for the kids. That's for everyone. I mean, as long as you pray, no one's perfect. No one's, perfect. Only one man was perfect that walked this earth. So as long as you do what you're supposed to do and you pray and seek his purpose for your life, he's going to help you get in touch with guys just like this, wonderful guys. You'll be like, man, how did I even link up with this guy? Or how did I get with this guy? I see it all the time, man. I get introduced to people that I had no idea that I would even have. You, Sunshine, for you, who would have ever thought that I would know, or even be on a podcast? No idea. I just pray for my purpose and stay focused, man. That's gonna help you get successful, man. This has been great with you guys. This has been great.
I love this. This has been. David, what do you want to leave the viewers with?
I'll say, Brother Malcolm said something to the effect that education is the passport to the future, and tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And so for me, I think moving forward, education right now is a key, right? And when I say education, I'm not talking about formal education. That's schooling to me. There's a difference between schooling and education. But education is what teaches you to look at the world around you and question that, right? And become very critical about it, right? And so I love what the various things that the brothers here are doing. I meant to say this earlier, but I love the fact that it seems like we're all brothers who joined our organizations, but we made the organization didn't make us, right? And so, that's very important, right? And so, this idea and this understanding of who we are is critical in this moment. The Bible says, that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. That's a very monumental statement, right? In a spiritual sense, it's literally talking about times like this, where if we want to call COVID, as a great equalizer, whatever people want to see it as from a spiritual standpoint, what we have to know is that this is our time, right? And this is our time. And if we don't take full advantage of our time right here, right now, we will get locked back in another circle or another frequency in which we'll be asking a lot of questions because we don't know when the next circle or cycle will open for us to have this opportunity. So I'm encouraged tonight to be on the call with these brothers doing amazing, amazing, amazing things across the country, looking to unite. And likewise, for those that are out there, wherever you are, looking to connect and so that everybody's future is bigger and brighter and better.
Marcus, what would you like to leave the viewers with?
I would like to leave the viewers with the term full circle. Each and every one of us had somebody in our lives that influenced us that we probably didn't know were members of these great organizations, from fraternities as well as from Masonically. And when we looked up and realized exactly who these gentlemen were, you start to see a pattern about these gentlemen that you mirror. And I definitely wanted to be that particular pattern. My full circle was my barber, who was a Shriner. My full circle was, like I said previously, the gentlemen that came into the projects. They are the ones who actually brought me into college world. So it would behoove me to do the same thing for my next set of generations. So that's what I would like to leave everybody with, to be their full circle. I want to have that situation to where a young man like myself wakes up the next day and like, oh, Sonny influenced me. And then my situation will be completed after that.
Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, EJ, Omar, Terrence, David, Marcus. Thank you for dropping the knowledge. Thank you for speaking to the people. Because, like I said before, these kids don't know what fraternity means. They don't know the brotherhood. They don't know the background. And you guys help bring full insight to it. You've also brought in education, knowledge, you name it. You're showing what you're doing today, even during this pandemic. I thank you guys because they need to see brothers like us, like you guys. They need to see African American brothers. They need to see African American sisters out here doing for the community, doing for our families, doing. And no more labeling. Because right now, with what's going on in this generation, too many killings. They just seeing the news and the news and the news and the news, but they're not seeing the positive side of us. So I thank you. I thank you for helping bring this to light. I thank you. And I hope the networks keep continuing. We're going to have you back. We know Sunshine's going to have y'all back one by one to go further, to talk more, and to excel. And so all your numbers are locked in my phone. So we'll be keep on talking and keep on networking. And this will be on YouTube tomorrow. And we are going to push this out to every place possible because they need to see more of us in a positive light. And tonight, you help do that. So I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down and talk to the viewers and to talk with me. I appreciate you guys. I respect y'all to the max. I love y'all. Thank you.